Today we're going to multiply a decimal by a decimal. Now previously we used estimation to help us determine where to place the decimal point in our product. Estimation is also very helpful because it allows us or gives us a way to judge if our product is reasonable. So before we actually multiply 5 and 7/10 times 2 and 8/10, let's go ahead and just estimate the product for these two numbers. So 5 and 7/10 is about 6, 2 and 8/10 is about 3. So we would estimate that our product is going to be around 18. So we're going to go ahead and find the actual product of 5 and 7/10 and 2 and 8/10. Now we know that our answer cannot be 1,596. We would expect it to be somewhere around 18. We've talked in class about counting the number of digits to the right of our decimal point to help us place the decimal point in the product. And that's what we're going to do now. I notice that there is one number to the right here, one number to the right, and 2 and 8/10. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I need to have two numbers to the right of my decimal point in my product. So I get a product of 15 and 96 hundredths, which is very close to my estimate of 18, so I know that my product is reasonable. Let's look at another example. I have 4 and 12 hundredths times 5 hundredths. Again, I'm going to just multiply these out. I get 2,060. Well, that certainly seems large because 5 hundredths is a very small number. So we are going to count the number of digits to the right of our decimal place to help us determine where to place our decimal point. I have 2 in each of these factors. So I know that if I add 2 plus 2, I get 4. So I need to have 4 numbers to the right of my decimal place. So my decimal point is going to go there. And I just like to put a 0 in the ones place just to make sure, to help me make sure that I didn't just put a stray mark in front of my 2. You'll notice in this problem we have 14 thousandths times 3 and 7/10, and you'll see that our decimal points are not lined up. And in multiplication, that is not a problem. We do not have to line up the decimal points when we multiply. We must always line up the decimal points when we add or subtract, but we don't have to do that when we multiply. So we're going to go ahead and multiply these two numbers. We have 518, but we do need to put a decimal point into our product. So we're going to count the number of digits to the right of our decimal point in each of our factors. Here we have 3. Here we have 1. So we know that when we add 3 plus 1 we get 4. And we need to have 4 numbers to the right of the decimal point in our product. Obviously you can see that we only have 3 numbers. So this is where we will annex a 0 to the left. So if you can imagine that we're going to take our decimal point and go over 1, 2, 3, 4 places where we have this empty spot, we're going to add our 0, we're going to add our decimal point, and because I like to have 1 in the ones place, I'm going to go ahead and add a 0 in the ones place as well. So we have our product of 518 ten-thousandths. We're going to take a look at one last problem. This is a word problem. It says, Jennifer makes $8.79 per hour walking dogs. She walks dogs for 6 75/100 hours per week. How much money does she earn? So let's go ahead and set this problem up. We have a really large number here, so we need to go ahead and place our decimal point. Because as much as Jennifer would have liked to have made $593,000, she probably didn't walking dogs. So we notice we have two numbers to the right of the decimal point in $8.79, or no, $8.79. We have two numbers to the right of the decimal point in the 6 3/4 hours that she walked dogs. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So we need to have four numbers to the right of our decimal point. We're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 places and place it right there. And we can see that Jennifer earned $59.33 walking dogs.